Today is September 11th, 2010. So, of course, with the numbers and the years reversed, 9/11/01. It's been discussed pretty much all day today. I watched the earlier broadcasts where, broadcasts of the actual time of the events and how they took place and how the plane hits the tower. And at that point, they're not really sure that it's a terrorist attack. Could just be a plane hitting the tower. Now a second one does a little bit later, and now they're like, okay, this isn't such a likely coincidence. It's more likely to be hijacked. One hits the Pentagon and one crashes in a Pennsylvania field near Pittsburgh. Of course, by the time the second plane hits the towers, there's not a whole lot of doubt that it's an act of terror and not just a plane crashing. So, just like all my life, I remember people saying, do you remember where you were when Kennedy was shot? Of course, I wasn't born, but I will always remember where I was when the Twin Towers were hit and the Pentagon. I don't know about everybody, but I tend to forget about the Pentagon and the plane that crashed in the field. I tend to think about the towers a lot, just because there were so many mass killings, and New York being such a busy city and a place where so much happened. I shouldn't say I tend to forget about the Pentagon, but I tend to give that less thought than the areas that we just mentioned. So that's what's happening right now. That's what's on my mind, is that today being the 9th anniversary of September 11th, and in one way or another it's affected probably all of us. The point at the time of the attacks was to attack world trade and to invoke terror, which of course they did. And that's led to some other things that have happened. Well, in a roundabout way, anybody who, I'm sure by now almost everybody in this country knows at least somebody who was killed in either Afghanistan or Iraq. And you can trace it right back to September 11th, because our troops wouldn't be in either place if it weren't for that. And, you know, I've always been somebody who actually supported then President Bush. I know a lot of people don't agree with him or don't approve of him. I liked him a lot, and as I see these news footages again, and we get back to some of the speeches that ensued and some of the action that was taken afterwards, I honestly feel that, like him, love him, or hate him, we needed leadership at our darkest hour, and we got that. And I will go to my grave with that opinion. And of course, it doesn't help that I've really never disliked a president like I do Obama. After the election, I remember saying it was a fair election and he won. Of course, I didn't vote for him, but there's been people who I didn't vote for in the past that have turned out to be more to my liking than I thought they'd be, so I was willing to give him a chance. I hardly agree with anything that man stands for. Anything. He's even having no quarrels with the mosque being built a little distance away from Ground Zero. Now, I understand some of the argument to that too. I understand that people are saying that it was Muslim extremists that attacked the Twin Towers. That does not mean a Muslim mosque, that all Muslims are terrorists. And I'm not saying that. I know that. You don't have to sell that to me. I'm aware of that. But it really isn't good taste to put up that particular thing in that particular location, when there are many other areas in New York City, in a city that size, and even that aren't too far out of the neighborhood, that just wouldn't be Ground Zero. I think it would be better for all involved if they didn't do that. I don't approve of Reverend Terry Jones's original plans to burn some Korans. I don't think that two wrongs make a right, and I think that that's all that would be. That would just be another wrong here. So I do not approve of Terry Jones and his efforts. It's not that I don't approve of him or his ministry, and I understand his anger, but that's really not how you express your opinion, because when you start doing that, then, well, you've committed sort of an act of terror also, and that's not right either. I guess last I heard, which was last night, Terry Jones had called off his plans to burn Korans in New York City. I haven't really been up on today's news if he followed through with that or not, because then there was talk of him possibly doing that again, because he claimed he called off his attack because, or not his attack, his Koran burning session, that he called that off because he had come to terms with some Muslim leaders who were willing to move the new mosque. And later reports said they're not going anywhere, and Terry Jones feels that they had promised him they would. I still hope he didn't burn his Korans, and he doesn't plan on doing that, because I don't think that any good would come of it. I think that would only lead to, a modern day crusade. I don't think that would lead to any kind of good. I think that would only pit the extremists of Christianity against the extremists of Islamic belief, I should have said, not Muslimism, okay? Islamic belief. So, that's what I think. I think that the mosque shouldn't be built near Ground Zero. I think that Terry Jones was very angry, as many of us are, that that's going to happen. I don't think his way of protest is a good one for anyone involved. It doesn't help his cause. It would only make him seem an extremist, when he's been a minister for many, many years and has done a lot of good for his ministry.